Cheers!
Cheers!
Welcome to
Welcome to
Movie
Movie
Bitches.
Bitches.
Episode 254. Today we're reviewing Great White. It took me a second. It's a pretty generic title.
It's not a great title.
I'm surprised that one of these hasn't already been called this.
Yes. Accurate. I'm surprised this isn't already a movie, but also fairly generic title. First things first.
Shout out to our Patreon supporters. $5 a month gets you early access. $10 gets you access to our viewing parties. You can go to patreon.com/moviebitches and sign right up. Second, shout out to our wine sponsor, Wink. Go to trywink.com/moviebitches. You get $22 off your first month of wine. Don't let it get eaten by a shark.
You know how much they love to eat
drunk people? Everything. But also, because you notice that at the very beginning cutscene, there was a beer bottle rolling around, wine bottle rolling around. Was it just
Well, now I'm confusing that with the opening of Deep Blue Sea. We're having a party.
Party!
We're having a party, man.
Is there a correlation between drunk people, sharks love drunk people?
I think they're probably making a comment that's why they weren't aware, or that's why they deserve to die. There's always that weird kind of oh, well, they weren't smart enough to get away from the, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But third things third, make sure to subscribe, share whole, follow us on Instagram and Twitter, click that like button, comment what's your favorite shark movie. If you haven't checked out our Sharktober series, go do that.
Yeah, so Great White. Overall thoughts. This movie was better than I thought it was going to be. As a movie. Sure. Competently made.
Yes.
For the most part. This wasn't trash, but there was trashy parts about it.
It's interesting. This movie was kind of like Horizon Line meets Shallows meets
Open Water.
Sure.
I was shockingly engaged.
Even when they were just floating forever and ever, and I was like, oh my God,
there was a period of time in the middle when it slowed down. Yeah. But I was shockingly engaged with, I thought the plot was bad, but so much better than these other shitty, boring, like 47 Meters Down, for instance. Right. Oh, my boyfriend sucks. Let's go on a shark dive and then we're stuck there. You know what I mean? There's something interesting going on, where this was our two main characters, one of them has in the past been bitten by a shark and has trauma about that.
Now, question about that. At a certain point, he touches his shark, scar.
He seems to have some kind of connection with it.
Right? I was like, what is this?
Hallucination.
So, spoiler alert, I mean, we just talked about it just briefly, but I would say you could fully watch. I mean, it's go on Shudder, you could watch it. It's an hour and a half. It's a fun, silly time. It does drag a little, but
it drags a little. The conclusion I came to was it's fully watchable, and there are moments that are really stupid and fun, and there were parts that I was genuinely engaged with. So, if you like shark movies, don't expect something. Don't expect Ghost Shark, but it was pretty good. You could watch it. Yeah. Okay, so we find out they're trying to run this charter company. They don't have a lot of money. This strange couple, we can get into them, charters the plane. We find out the reef they're going to has this past lore about how all these sailors were stuck on this reef and there was a sole survivor. I know. It was my grandfather. I was like, what is happening? But it was, there was stuff happening. You know what I mean?
It was interesting.
Where I was like,
yes.
Okay, I mean, it's not good, but you're trying to do, you're trying to have a plot.
And it might not be great, but at least it wasn't stupid, where it was well, this is unrealistic. Now, we will get to the point.
For the most part.
Where for the most part. There was parts of it, of course, where it's well, why is this shark so obsessed with you? But
it really wavered between this minimalistic drama that was serious, and then wild unrealistic just fantasy.
Yes.
And it was jarring and kind of fun. I mean,
Yeah.
when they found that, zombie body on the beach, I was like, what?
What?
What's this now? Even more plot. Oh, she's just told him that she's pregnant. Like, there was stakes. There was drama. There was interpersonal things going on that were weird that like the chef guy keeps on flirting with the wife, but we have no reason why other than, like, I guess he thinks she's hot.
You first. Here we go, eh?
But the husband's really, really weird about it, and he seems like he has a backstory that we never find out, except that he almost drowned, but, like, we don't find out why he's psycho.
He was so intense of, like, everything else.
Is he coming? Then he's our cook. As long as that's all he does.
But yes, it stars Katrina Bowden, also known as Cerie from 30 Rock, who her and Christine Taylor are starting to look like twins. Christine Taylor is the woman from Dodgeball, the blonde lady. She's the woman from Zoolander.
Ben Stiller's wife?
Well, I didn't want to refer to her as just Ben Stiller's wife.
Of course. But yes.
They are really starting to look like the same person. Or, I mean, whatever.
I get that.
Morphing.
I can see that. But a little, like, she was also like a knockoff Blake Lively for me, too.
Sure.
Maybe a better actress?
I was gonna say it and I felt weird about it, but, like, I was gonna say it. The acting wasn't awful.
Oh. And I think
that
helped.
Like, this movie's, like, halfway decent. And I was shocked by that.
I'd say the only thing that I really disliked about it was that it really dragged in the middle when they were just floating for days.
Yeah, it could have been trimmed by 5-10 minutes and it would have been much better. And the main guy is hot when his hair is dry.
I was like, what is going on?
There were scenes where I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no.
Oh no. Yeah, it wavered. It started and I was like, oh God, they couldn't have gotten a hot guy. And then, like, they wake up the next day after their sex.
Oh my God.
That sex scene with the fucking sunken plane was really too much.
This sort of chased through the billowy curtains, made in Manhattan sex scene. I was like, have we gone back in time? Okay.
But also this foreshadowing of, like, ooh, the plane is down at the bottom.
Ooh.
Was that the baby? Was that, like, what it was? It was the conception of the baby, and I'm just kidding because it was the next day.
No, she said she was 2 months pregnant.
I know. But then, the next morning, I was like, oh, okay, like, back and arms, and ooh, he's hot. Oh, go figure.
And the chef was hot, and I appreciated the representation. He's, a New Zealand actor, and I was like, oh, that's fabulous, because it takes place in Australia.
Or
and
somewhere
so I appreciate it. Or down under somewhere.
Yeah.
We don't know exactly where it takes place, but it is, in fact, down under.
They all have Australian accents, yeah.
They all have it, except for Cerie, but she explains that she was a nurse. Actually, that didn't make any sense for why she
was a nurse in the hospital. Well, whatever, it doesn't matter. She was from somewhere else, and she's been living there.
When I went to Australia, I would say 95% of the people I met, I would be like, oh, how did you, what's your deal? And they were like, oh, I came for a vacation, and I just didn't leave.
Yeah.
I was like, that sounds about right.
The husband was hot, too, mostly. When he wasn't being douchey, I was like, oh, you're hot.
Yes, yeah.
So...
I thought the score was good. It was I mean, there was times when I couldn't tell if it was the score that was roaring or the sharks that were roaring, which was confusing. The score was not generic, and it built tension, and there was sort of a minimal, creepy, pervasive vibe to it. And I was like, oh, this is pretty good. Like,
I will say, actually, I think maybe disappointingly, maybe not, the least successful part of this movie was the shark element.
100%. They could have actually gotten rid of the shark, and it would have been a better movie, like a better, less funny.
Sure.
Because, I mean,
oh my God.
So it starts, and there's, 2 drunk people. I guess they were drunk.
They didn't seem drunk, whatever. They're on vacation. They're selfieing in the water.
I mean, he was bold. I know that phones are waterproof now. I know this. I still don't trust it. And he just pulled that right out of it was just in his swim
pocket.
trunks. And he was like, hey, like I was just like, I know I should, like I know.
But
they're
it did
waterproof.
seem like it was in a plasticky case.
No, because then later when they find it and on him and use his thumbprint, his dead body thumbprint to open
I mean,
it,
that was so much. I was just like, what is this nonsense? But anyway.
Oh, I will say, so this really was great, actually. The movie starts, oh, hey, we're on vacation, oh, we're in love, selfie. And it starts like every other horror movie. The woman sees the villain, the killer, the shark. He doesn't see it. She sees it again. And it was, and I on such a deep level appreciated that he said, I believe you.
Let's swim to
hurry
the
back
boat.
to the boat.
Yeah.
I was like, thank you, movie. I feel seen.
Calm down. I believe you, okay? I believe you.
It's such a small thing, and oh my God, I shouldn't be like, thank you. But it
Right.
was so great for him just to be like, I believe you, woman.
Yes.
You're not hysterical. Shall we
you
go
are
try and save our
hysterical.
lives?
Let's calm down.
But, like, you're not a hysterical
But you're not imagining
woman,
things. Like, I believe you. Let's just get to the fucking boat.
Such a great way to start the movie. I was like, yes, I appreciate you. So anyway.
But then this stupid nonsense of the
but then
rope
this nonsense.
being like, oh no, it snapped. Oh, she got hit in the head. And
The boom.
The boom.
The bow. The bow.
No.
Boom on a boat. You're right, it is boom. That just feels wrong somehow. Right in the face. Oh no, the boom. Oh no, I'm eaten alive. But even this was sort of interesting. Usually the first kill of a movie, oh, they got killed. We never see them again. There's no connection really.
Right,
They're just dead.
Sure.
It was an independent scene that maybe sort of connected, but like it's forgotten. The main characters discover her boyfriend's body with no legs, zombified on the beach.
Shore.
Even though it's been a day.
A day.
He's like gray.
That's right. He's like fully like
corpse, like decomposing corpse. And they check his phone. Like there was like some investigation going on, like intrigue. Oh, we care. They try to find his phone. They realize the last picture that was taken on the phone is with him and this girl. She could still be alive. We should check. We're responsible people. Like I was like, this is all engaging.
Yes. I mean, certainly I would have liked a phone call to the Coast Guard that we actually heard rather than him being like, yeah, I did it. And
I did it.
And I would have liked, I mean, like, that was where it started to fall apart of like, well, why are you going into this boat? You just call and give your location. We found a boat. We've landed here.
Well, that wasn't, I mean, him going into the boat didn't end up being the issue that killed them because in the funniest part of the entire movie, they're on a pontooned waterplane and a CGI'd shark on the level of Shark Attack 3. Maybe just like a tier above, like one step above, rams the pontoon of the plane
and
so
bites it
hard.
No, it bit it.
Sinks. No, I know, but and then sinks their plane.
Yeah.
Very quickly. This
Very
was
quickly.
madness. This was complete and utter madness. I laughed very hard.
Yeah. Especially because it is kind of odd in that like the main Australian hottie was in the pilot seat already. Yeah. Like he was like you would think, couldn't you just start the plane and like take off and it'll like the water will drain from the pontoon? Maybe they lose their friend Benny. Like that's rough, I don't know. He can lie on the boat.
Yeah, like, Indiana Jones style. It'd be great. He was my favorite, actually. I really liked Benny, and I was rooting for him, and I was really very sad, spoiler alert, when he dies first, even though you knew it was going to happen, because he was one of the not two couples.
I was
ask into
a question?
him.
I was into him, too. Yes. How come his little necklace floated?
When did it float?
After the shark steals him away and eats him, which was so absurd.
So absurd. Well, when the husband became a murderer, just like flat out.
Well, right, yeah, just like, I'm gonna push you off the boat, and then he gets.
You
eaten.
Looked at my wife. Well, then, I think it's made of bone, the necklace, so maybe it is like.
Does bone float?
Buoyant.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Okay. Maybe.
Perhaps.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Sure. Like it seems so bizarre to me that his necklace would just pop up and float on the ocean.
Because the shark bit off his head. And then the necklace, which I am inferring is made of some sort of buoyant bone.
Sure, there you go.
Floated to the top. It was dramatic, so we could go,
No!
Benny, no! You were the only likable person, kind of.
Pretty much.
Not only. I liked.
That's not true.
I liked pretty much everybody, but he was just my favorite. I don't know. There was something. He was kind of in the more fun movie.
A dolphin?
I had a question. So at the beginning, the couple that's going to spread her grandfather's ashes, we find out.
Yep, and apparently didn't do it because they were, I mean, I guess they saw the dead body and were upset, but I still would have done it if you're going to leave.
She had to wait until her husband was eaten by a shark so she could, say. I mean, I appreciated that she spoke Japanese and they subtitled it. Like there was care, there was intention, there was an active choice to make a slightly different film than they necessarily needed to.
Absolutely.
But the husband, they're getting on the plane and he's like, "Hey, I'm Captain Charlie." And he goes, "Oh, CC, like the chips." And I was like, I don't know what that.
Great, I didn't either.
Australian thing? Okay, great.
CC, there must be like a type of chip that's like CC.
Great.
Captain
Charlie. That was his only, other than that, he was mad, depressed, sad, and pissed. That was like literally the only moment where he was like, I could be fun sometimes.
Right.
The whole time they're strange. They seem like they have a really strained relationship. He seems overbearing and has a lot of baggage, but she really loves him. It was intriguing. And I was like, what is exactly going on here? And then it ended and I was like, oh, I wish we knew more, but also perhaps if we knew more, it would be a letdown. So I was like, you know what? Just let it be sort of a weird mystery.
Sure.
We don't need to, have a monologue about, I was so young, I didn't know.
I was young when we got married, and I didn't know. I didn't know how much he liked to drink.
I was so young, I didn't know. We didn't need that monologue from her necessarily.
Yeah, no.
Aside from all of the shark stuff, everything about this movie felt deeply realistic.
Yes.
Strangely enough.
Of course, then it would be a boring movie where nothing happened because they wouldn't have been stranded because their ship wouldn't have, or their plane wouldn't have been.
It would just be lifeboat.
I mean, I guess, right, something could have happened. Maybe it got pushed into a rock or whatever and the pontoon.
Well, lifeboat is like uncovering the drama within the people that have survived. Right. And I think one of them is secretly a Nazi. And so it's sort of like becomes a drama within and it's less about the situation that they're in and more about like what's going on interpersonally. But this movie didn't have a good enough script to do that, but it would have been that movie.
Yeah, so quick commercial break and we will be back with more sharks. What became frustrating was that at a certain point, the
it made no sense.
Are just following them. They didn't actually go 130 miles or kilometers to the land. That wasn't the land that they ended up at, I thought. It was just they happened to, who knows?
They were paddling for a while.
Like they had called in and then, I mean, obviously maybe the Mayday didn't make it.
Get a Mayday out? Not sure.
Or whatever, that was kind of stupid.
That plane sunk so fast. It must have sunk within 20 seconds. Like it was just like, and fuck, we're sinking. I was like, wait, what?
I mean, I guess if the pontoon is filling with water, then it would pull.
But then the other one, I just don't think it would sink that fast.
That fast.
Not that quickly.
Yeah, I don't know. But also when he was like, oh, we have a 45-minute fuel reserve. We can fly around and look for this boat. I was like, maybe you call in and say, hey, we think there's a boat missing in this area. He's
a heroic marine biologist, charter plane hero.
I mean, I guess if they thought maybe she was still alive and like injured or something, time is of the essence.
Save a life.
Right.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
Well, that was what was crazy is that the shark rams the metal pontoon and bites it to the point of sinking it, but the rubber life raft, not a big deal.
I don't want to bite that. Right? So weird.
I know. I was like, wait, it's just going to eat the lifeboat whole, like in Shark Attack 3, Megalodon.
I was confused by the size of this shark multiple times. They loved their drone aerials, which did actually look kind of cool.
I thought there was a look to the movie. It had a lot of nice, like you said, drone stuff. It had a lot of nice underwater stuff where, they're so small and, you know, that kind of perspective of the shark, I guess.
Oh, the flashlight and the...
They built an atmosphere more so than some of these other movies.
Absolutely.
And they relied, I think because of their limited budget, they relied less on sharks and more on other stuff, which made it
maybe there is a shark, but I don't know. We're stuck here on this raft and I'm freaked out.
You know, at a certain point, they had to make dumb choices because it's a horror movie. Right. The girl drops the paddle.
Right.
Because she's so tired, right? And
Why
then
did they just paddle over to it?
Instead of using the other paddle to paddle to the paddle, Suri is like, I'll go get it. Why? No, don't do that.
Right?
That's a
I will get out of I am dry. I will get out of this raft and get all wet.
We happen to have saved 2 sort of sexy wetsuits. Just like, you know.
Oh, is that what she was in, a wetsuit?
No, they changed they were like, here, put this on. And of course they had 2, you know, female, sexy-ish, but none for the guys, but that's fine. It made me laugh.
I don't even remember that. I didn't realize she was in a wetsuit.
She changes into it after they're all wet, and then the other woman also changes, and that's when Benny, the cook, is like, hey, you want me to help you put on your wetsuit? And then the husband is like, fuck you, and punches him and knocks him off the...
I think I missed that. I mean, I saw the, like, fuck you, don't talk to my wife, but I guess I didn't realize there was a wetsuit.
It's because they were putting on the wetsuits. That was just so insane. He punches him off the life raft and murder. I mean, he essentially commits murder. Manslaughter, this had intent. To the point where you thought you were going to find out more about why he was so... Because this was, like, unforgivable. Like, when the wife was, like, kind of like, well, I still love you. I was like,
He basically murdered that man out of jealousy.
He murdered that man out of petty jealousy. Wow.
Right. Especially if at this point we know that there's a shark that is, for unknown reasons, obsessed with them and following them over the course of multiple miles.
I started to write a script where I was like, wait, so is this the same shark that bit the pilot and he got a taste for his blood and it's still, he can smell it and he still wants it?
He's attached. When he touches the scar, then he gets... It was weird. Oh, yeah.
They seem to have some kind of psychic connection.
Right? It really did. And I was like, this is an interesting choice. Now, I don't actually know what great whites eat. I guess mostly like seals and whatever. But they would show this shark swimming around with all of these large tuna.
Yes. Nope. I want to eat that pontoon.
Okay. I was just like, what? That's not anything that we know about shark behavior. And then he's like, oh, they're hunting in packs. And I was like, why are they hunting this orange...
At all. Yeah.
Well, right. They're like following this orange floating pontoon boat? Why? And then again, when it follows her like into the fucking like
oh my God.
Plane wreck.
Well, I did love... There were some like beautiful photography. Yeah. It's a great location. The final sequence takes place in a sunken, rusted out shipwreck on a reef. It was beautiful. I was like so into what was going on that I didn't care that it was completely fucking stupid. Oh no, they're still chasing us, but there's the shore. It's 200 yards off the whatever it is. Yeah. And they form a plan. We're not going to make it. We should give up and try and fight the sharks. Hand-to-hand combat, almost. They've got a flare gun, and they've got a knife on the end of a paddle. I mean, you know, creative. They're active players in their own agency and story. I was into it. The pilot's like, oh, you guys swim. I'm going to try and take out these sharks with this knife or whatever. And no, we're going to do it together. And, I mean, I felt for them. I was like, you know what? I'm rooting for them to... Oh, he's dead. Oh, shit.
Well, because he didn't try and do it together.
Yeah, he died fairly unceremoniously, though.
Oh, completely. Because he couldn't shoot the flare gun.
Like,
oh, no, he's dead. Oh,
it was so quick. It was so fast. I was half expecting him to be like, oh, I made it somewhere. Because it was just so like, wait, what?
Oh, no, he lost the leg. It was finally like the sharks
I
finished
got your leg. I finally got you.
Yeah.
There was so much underwater screaming. And just, my mouth is open. And I was like, what are you doing? I mean, What's happening, honestly, though? She shoots a flare into the shark's mouth. And then talk about double tap. He stabs the shit out of this shark. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I mean, I am not here for shark violence in real life whatsoever. But in this case, where this, Freddy Krueger level Jason shark is systematically hunting you down, you got to stab that thing till it's dead.
Sure. I did feel weird in this one where it really felt at a certain point like they were just shark hunting rather than like defending themselves against the sharks.
Well,
I was because
they added in the shark going, ah! Like the shark screamed underwater when it died. I was like, this is absurd.
What? Yeah.
What is happening? Sharks roaring like tigers and screaming in pain. What are we doing?
Yeah. Oh, we didn't talk about when Joe, the asshole husband, littered.
Oh my God. He's drinking. I mean, you keep that regardless. You need containers. What if you end up deserted on an island and you need a fucking container for this? Is some bad choices.
She litters. What an asshole.
What an asshole.
I was like, oh, so he's dying first? And then he didn't even die first.
He should have died first. It was lame how Benny died. That he was murdered by that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wanted to get into why he was so into that girl, and she kind of seemed into him.
Yeah.
Because her husband seemed neglectful and weird. Where's Edward Albee to like re-punch up this script a little, make it a little more dramatic.
Yeah.
I always like when the sharks are vindictive and manipulative emotionally, because that's fun, right? When the husband gets tossed off.
Oh my God.
And I'm so scared I can't swim. He's coming and he gets eaten.
Yep.
And there's pretty lengthy like, oh my God, Joe's dead.
Yeah.
What are we gonna do? Like, time has passed, and then he surfaces.
Yeah.
Help me or whatever. I was like, these manipulative sharks are like, haha, you thought he was dead. He's not dead.
Right.
He's dead.
It was like a lot. It was bad.
Yes.
But in a fun.
Every time the shark showed up, I laughed.
Yes.
Like whenever the shark was there was a comedy. This movie just came out, but it hasn't, when I was looking, it wasn't listed yet. This has to be rated R, right? Because they say fuck multiple times. Because
it's like streaming, it might not have to be rated that way.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
The sex scene was very chaste. So it wasn't
it was.
Oh, that really put it over the edge.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I don't know.
I'm trying to do our bills, honey. It's time for sexy time behind the gauzy curtains.
Oh my God.
That really made me laugh.
It was
very like, we're
silly.
Still doing this. We're still...
Yep.
I have never entered a home where gauzy curtains are... I mean, maybe if it's like a mosquito net or something, but...
Sure. But otherwise, where these... Very
Top Gun. It was that era of like... Yeah. And it's just so weird that it's still happening. I'm like, what?
What do you say we go home and...
I'm exhausted.
Yeah, me too, but... I'm really wired. What do you say I take you home and eat your pussy?
Nothing will ever top that. It's too good. But yes, they're in the shipwreck. It's very Little Mermaid.
Yes.
No, it's stuck in the porthole. All that. She has a little portable air tank kind of thing. She's distracting the shark, and then the shark is stuck in a thing, and now this I found to be confusing. So she can't get the air loose.
Somehow it got wrapped around a thing.
For like a really long time, to the point where I was like, bitch, leave it. Swim away. No, it's still stuck. And then she inadvertently drowns. Like she's just like, oh no. And falls asleep underwater. So this is when I thought, the pilot's definitely going to be like, haha, I wasn't dead. I'm going to save you. But no, the wife shows up and they have a sexy underwater mouth to mouth, which doesn't exist. Like you can't.
Doesn't exist.
Give people mouth to mouth. You would just be blowing more water into their lungs. What's going on?
This was so insane to me. It was like very just like sexy makeout, but apparently she's just breathing carbon dioxide into her lungs.
Plus salt water. She's
Right.
already like, ugh.
I was just like, what is happening?
Did she faint? I could not. This was wild. I was like, what is going on?
It was wild. And I really couldn't help but laugh because then all of a sudden she's just like, oh, I'm fine.
It's that, classic, like, oh, I coughed up some water on the beach, except they're underwater. It was insane.
Where did the air, like, then she's like, now I can breathe and we can continue doing what we were doing. I was like, where did all of this air come? It was like when you're playing like Super Mario and you go underwater and you get like one of those little air bubbles underwater and you're like, oh good, I've refreshed my air.
The music is counting down. Bum, 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 bum,
Yeah.
bum, 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 bum,
You're
bum, bum.
like, oh no, I gotta get the air bubble. Yeah, it was very that.
Like maybe if she'd gotten the tank and given it to her.
Yeah,
it was
that's
just
what I was waiting for.
absolute nonsense.
Nonsense.
And it really made me laugh. So then I was like, oh, are they going to just, like, was the whole thing that the wife was disappointed in her marriage and maybe now they're going to become lesbian lovers and raise this baby together? Here for it.
Here for it. I mean, I was definitely like, I want to know what their story is from now on, like from here after, but.
Right. I was like, so you guys have bonded dramatically. Also, I hope that guy had a life insurance policy / that plane was insured / because they were in financial ruin.
Yes, definitely. Also, where are they? I know they were on land, but what land was it? Was it an island?
It's a modern day take on, Blue Lagoon, and they're just going to raise the baby on this island? I don't know. I don't know. They're still fucked. They're still fucked.
Yeah. No water, no, it was like, okay. Maybe there's coconuts? I don't know.
Oh boy. So yeah, I mean, I would say you could watch it. There was enough dumb stuff to keep me entertained, and there was enough actual good stuff to keep me entertained. So it really rode right down that middle. It wasn't horribly boring, and it wasn't, absolute trash.
I would have trimmed 5 minutes of them floating at sea, but otherwise,
absolutely,
I was on board or overboard.
Me too. You gotta watch out for those sharks. They're gonna roar at you. Oh man.
Oh my God.
When it's dying death throes, we're like,
that was what was so crazy. They make out, and she gives her underwater mouth to mouth, and then she's like fully reanimated. Then she starts banging that metal thing. I was like, wouldn't you go up to the surface, get some air, and then maybe come back and try and kill the shark? I don't know. It's crazy.
She just constantly had her mouth 100% open underwater.
And then she's screaming underwater, and it's like, okay, but you now have to go breathe.
No, she didn't seem to have that problem. Maybe she's part fish. Maybe this is a sequel to Waterworld. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
I mean, that was also...
Yeah, she's starting... Because, like, the shipwreck, and they're living on this island, and they're going to be the last survivors, and the baby is the first baby born in the new water world.
Whoa,
sure.
There you go. Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
But there was also questionable when he goes into the shipwreck at the very beginning to find the dead woman, right? And he didn't bring any scuba gear. Like, he didn't bring that little
They
tank.
had the thing. He didn't bring it. It's fine.
I was like, he's just free diving under this boat. Seems very dangerous. If he got stuck and couldn't breathe, like, what are we doing?
There was quite a few choices where they were smart, so it outweighed, like she says, the pilot guy is like, I'll go check it out, and she's like, absolutely not. If you get hurt, you're the only one that can fly a plane. And he's like, oh.
Yeah, you're right.
Good job. And I was like, oh, great. Like, so it balanced where you'd be like, smart choice, absurd choice.
Yes. Well, and it's like,
Smart
okay,
choice.
like when they
Insane.
found the boat, they should have called in their coordinates and been like, we found this boat and whatever, right?
Hey, Coast Guard, blah, blah. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. At least they were smart, though, that, like, they got the lifeboat out. And, and like unlike in fucking Horizon Line, where you're like, why would you toss the lifeboat out of the fucking plane?
Yeah. But that's what I mean. We're like, oh, this shark just ate your plane and it's sinking. This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. Oh, good. You're getting supplies. You got some water. You got a cooler. Like you thought about it somewhat.
Yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Yeah.
Cheers.